Second bit, with mindset of people are telling me this, people are telling me that, I'm taking advice, it's messing with my head, and it will. So when I do lots of coaching sessions, some people come to my sessions and say, hey, Neil, I read this thing on LinkedIn. What do you think? I'm like, I have no opinion on it. Not because I'm being difficult or I'm challenging because somebody says a different way. I said, whatever was written or done with that blueprint, that ebook, that transcript, that template, that sequence was built for them, for their ICP. It's what they figured out and it's how they did it. And trying to print that onto you with you may have a completely different ICP is going to go like that. Yes, you can take the structure of how many steps or when would you do the breakup and how would you go in for the close, but you still have to adapt it to yours. So me personally, Krish, I don't take advice from people that don't do what I do or what I'm about to do. So I'd rather talk to those people. So with your CEO, as a founder, he probably had to do this solo on his own at the beginning before he hired you, Matt, and etc. So I'd be talking to him more about what did you do when this came up. That's where I'd get the advice from. But I'm not saying I cut out all advice. I take perspective and opinions, but actions of doing is from the people that do what I do. So like same way with all of these cold callers today, the advice I give is what's worked for me. And yesterday we had a massive debate in the Power Hour of I wouldn't use a permission-based opener or I wouldn't use this time. And what we kind of understood was some people in the US do this, some people in Germany do that, somebody in South Africa does it this way and it works for them. So you figure out what you're doing, but here's the best bit of advice that I would give. Fail as much as you can. Because in failing, you will figure out what doesn't work and then how you can adapt it to what will work. Like my first cold calls, bro, all of them bombed. Like even with my coaching sessions that I do, I watch them back. I'm like, oh my God, this Power Hour, as Matt asked, it's recorded. I look back at to November. I'm like, what were you doing, Neil? But I now know how to deliver it better so that whoever rocks up today, I got it. So I don't know. How does that land with you?
Yeah, I think like I was reading a book this morning, right? What's it called? How to Win Friends and Influence. Yeah.
People,
And
yeah.
yeah, and it was talking very much like you shouldn't tell people they're wrong. And so I realized that as a salesperson, I kind of have to tell people they're wrong, right? Like, because I'm like, hey, you're wrong. You got to use our method because our method is better than whatever you're doing. But I have to say it in a way where I'm not showing they're wrong, but I'm like very open and humble and inviting and not attacking, you know? And I realize I'm either like super nice where I'm
Yeah. I
yeah.
would challenge that. I would count myself as one of the nice guys, and I was always put down for it, but I've outlasted most people that do what I've done in my industry with my own company, right? And it's not so much we should get people to listen to how we do it because it's the right way. The other side of the coin is everybody has the right to say no, or they don't want to do it that way. But you are right, you have to get them to your way of thinking. And there was a sales methodology 15 years ago called the Challenger Sale, which was teach, tailor, take control. Teach them what the world's going to happen if they don't change something. Tailor the conversation based on talking to a CMO is a different conversation to a head of marketing. They have different needs and but the take control was we're telling you that if you do this, you're all wrong. And that worked great in North American sales because people are used to being sold to. But you do that in the UK and EMEA and tell somebody, an MD, they're doing something wrong, you'll pee them off. So the way that you can do it is via insight selling or scenario selling. So Krish, working with this great SDR, Kirsten, she was new to sales. She was struggling with cold calling and hitting target. She had learned everything. She'd been on onboarding. She had a great sales methodology. But what she wasn't able to do was put practical things in place to help hit that target. So we looked at her process, the way she did it. And then actually by having conversations, we realized where the bottlenecks were. She improved this. And then she was able to hit target consistently. And she hit 12 opportunities in 2 weeks after the first coaching session. But I'm wondering, how is it working for you? So it's telling a story of somebody that looks like them, then putting it to the other person, and they will see themselves in the story as to why they need to change rather than telling them you're doing it wrong. Are you with me?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
So if there's another book you want to read, 120 pages It's called Insight Selling by Richard Harris. My VP of sales gave me that book when I first became an account executive, and it's 120 pages, and it's just a really good way of storytelling. Richard's a cool guy as well, and he's based out in the US. But learn the art of storytelling, lead with the problems, don't get me wrong. But the other side of it is, Krish, there's no one way that works. Like me, I've done Sandler training, spin selling, challenger, Huthway. I used to work for Winning by Design as a sales trainer. All have different methodologies, but I take the little bits that I like and make it my own style and then try and practice it. Because the other side of it is you can read a book and you can get a lot of knowledge from it, but being a practitioner like you're doing, calling people, talking to them, that's where you're going to learn it. But you need to fail. Again, I need to get off my coach pod for a minute. Yeah, man. Hopefully that helps in some sort of way.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I only count myself as an SDR for 3 months because the first 2 months was kind of stupid. It was a stupid job. But I've been learning so freaking much. I think the reps are easy. Putting in the work is easy. It's learning the skills that is difficult, because I feel like anyone could show up and do reps. You can do it mindlessly. It's just, you just drink a cup of coffee and you're good for like 7 hours. Everyone can do that.
Yep.
But it's being intentional to learn the skill, to grow in each projection.
100%. So like one of my mantras is if you just do it for the money and the commission check, you'll never be happy. But if you do it with the intention of actually genuinely wanting to help people, the money will come, right? A lot of us, myself included, I used to chase cash and money. I don't anymore. What I chase is seeing people actually win. That brings me fulfillment. And the more I do that, more people then want to work with me. And then, the money comes. But with the SDR bit, like I'm a company founder and I'm a coach for MSC. I still have to hunt leads. I'm still an SDR at heart. I love prospecting. I love booking a meeting. I'm a founder and I have to close business and run discovery calls and kickoff calls and all of that. That's fun. The closing bit, I don't enjoy. I don't find it fun. It's just for me, it's just transactional. Okay, cool. You want to buy? Sign the DocuSign. All right, legal, procurement. Okay, now stake. Bores me, bro, personally. But I like the beginning bit and I like the end. The middle bit, I'm not a fan of. But everybody's different. But still today, the term that I do not like to associate myself with is expert, guru, specialist, because I'm not. I'm still a student. I'm 20 years deep, but I learned stuff from you today, like with the red light. I learned stuff from Noah as to how he will do cold calling and how he will run a webinar. Ben Priest will teach me about how he listens to music when he's cold calling. Lauren, as an account executive, she'll teach me about how she's closed deals, and the biggest one she did last month. On Huckabee, I learned about rubber ducky voicemails. I'm learning. So people ask, how do you do what you do? I'm in the trenches and I'm still learning from the people that I work with. I'm not there. Because here's the other thing. Again, I'm getting a bit too deep here. But if you, like, a lot of people want to become top performers. I've been a top performer globally, but once you get to the top, then what? Most people, when they get to the top, it's hard to be consistent. They just want to jump off because they have to hold the status. But if you can be consistent month on month, even if it's just 80% month on month, you can do that. That's comfortable and that's scalable and manageable. But trying to hit 156, 186, then you go to 256, then 300, it gets a bit much. But everybody's built different. But the other side, as I say to some of the people that I've coached, like with Kirsten, you just have to go through that journey. And if you go with an open mind of, I am the student, and the prospect is actually the expert because they hold that job title, degree, whatever they did to get into that position. I'm an expert with my solution and my tool and what we sell, but I'm trying to sell it to the expert. So let me go to them and learn from them and ask, how do you do this? Like, what's your day-to-day like? And, when I first started selling, I was selling to VPs of sales, and I just said, one day I want to be like you. Like, I'm selling something for you, but like, how did you get into this journey? Like, what was the pitfalls did you have? And how do you run a team? And how do you guys hit quota? I'd ask questions like that. And then when I got into the next VP of sales, I was speaking to another VP of sales. They've got a spin methodology. They're implementing, stage 1, stage 2. They're looking to give SDR skin in the game once they close a deal by a percentage. Is that what I could talk their language? But that's, if you speak to them every day, Krish, that's where you're going to. So it's not LinkedIn templates, whatever, it's speaking to your prospect, man. That's where you're going to learn it the most.